I'm working here. More work. At least I'm not digging ditches. Well, this is work that I did so far. Some of it yesterday in a live stream. This is Laszlo's building. And I had some changes he wanted made. And I made those. And let me turn off the roof trusses for a second. So I wanted to go over in the roof framing and the soffits. And what is this layer? Roof NPC. There we go. And we'll go off roof. Too much stuff on the roof. I guess that's the wall sheeting. Yeah. Okay, so what we have here is our walls that are on top of the containers. And of course, I'm going to show some structural support inside the containers. That'll be something I do this afternoon. Showing taking this load from the roof down to these footings. Okay. These walls are, the height of these walls is based on the height of this opening that he wanted, 14 feet. Okay. Now, the code doesn't allow real long unbraced walls. Okay. So we put ourselves some shear walls in here. Okay. And if you're not familiar with shear walls, those are walls that are put in perpendicular to the long wall in question to give it lateral support, lateral bracing this direction. You can imagine if this wall is just really long and unbraced in the middle, I mean, you can just go up there and shake it with your hands, violently and, work it loose. Okay, so when you put a roof on it, you can't do that, but the wind can still do that. So what we do is we put these shear walls in here, and when you're setting the roof right down on top of the containers, you don't have this issue because the containers act as your shear your lateral resistance. But we need these shear walls. And what I'm doing is we're going to clip them to the container here. And then at the top, we will have, let's turn our trusses back on for a second. We'll have blocking. They just happen to work out on a truss. So I've got this blocking on either side that'll stiffen up the roof trusses, and you'll be able to attach nail from these blocks down into the top of that wall, you see, and that will create a really good stiff area in the roof, because what you're trying to do is connect the roof also. Part of your shear wall is connecting the roof to the floor or whatever's below it. Okay. Over here on this one, we're perpendicular to the trusses, so we can just toenail down into the trusses, into the wall. And so then we have one on both sides. See, and that gives us our shear walls for this upper part. And I think that will show the building inspector that we are good builders. That's what we want. Let's see if I have any questions yet. Hello, Luis. How do you pronounce your name? Luis. I'm working on this model for one of our atdrafting.com customers. This is what the building used to look like. This was the first design that I came up with these sort of massive walls on the side that were going to be more expensive. And the concern I had was the shear, the lateral stability of the wall, of the building, the entire building, not just the walls. And that's why I had this. And Laszlo thought it was going to be very expensive. And it would have been more expensive than this. So we came up with this, and we added the shear walls. And even adding the shear walls, it's going to be less expensive. So let me turn my roof framing back on, because that's what I'm going to work on next. He wanted to have these shed roofs come off the side. You can see I've already put my footings there. He wanted these shed roofs to come off the side so he could store lumber out here. So I'm going to start working on that. What's funny is I borrowed those columns and beams from the old design over there. So at least I was able to salvage something from that. It's funny. So I made it a group. I'm just going to move it over here close by for now. And I want to draw myself a line out here 10 feet, because he wants it 10 feet. So I want to come 10 feet from there. This will just give me a point of reference. 10 feet. There we go. And I just want to check to see if I come out 10 feet. Is that an edge? Yeah. And then 10 feet this way. Well, darn. $10 feet from here. What does that give us? Oh no, this one's wrong. So those two, yeah, those two are the same. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of grab two points of interest. And let's see. I want to actually use this line because it's on my framing line. But what I'm going to have to do is get down there. There we go. And let's see. I'm going to have to lower that. These posts are connected to their footings with these expansion anchors and these Simpson bases. Drop that down there on the concrete. I don't think I have my footings exactly lined up. Maybe, yeah, I do. I wanted to line those footings up with the ones that were already there, just to keep it simple. Keeping it simple in construction is the key. And yeah, I should have put that. So that's right. Now what I'm going to have to do is run a rafter out, and then I'll have to drop this beam at the right height. Hey Richard, how's it going? Good to see you again. I'm gonna get rid of this construction line. I'm gonna draw myself a rafter. I'm just gonna make it, for now I'm gonna make it 12 feet long, or from here I'm gonna make it 14 feet. And it's going to be, he wants to use 2x6s, which is fine because the span is only 10 feet. So we're going to go down to 5.5. I heard my phone texting. So we'll go down to there, and then we'll come out to here. We'll just draw us a temporary. Why am I not on the blue axis? The blue axis is the vertical. There we go. There we go. I thought something was strange there for a second. And now I can pull this out. 1.5. This is what I used to do before I had my Medique extensions, is I would draw everything. Which is fine, you know. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to show this rafter just coming back to this wall. Like that. And then I'm going to cut myself a bird's mouth in it. Right here. And because I can't see it to push pull it, I'm gonna pull it out for a second and then push pull it. Oops, that's the wrong command. That is the push pull command right there. Now I can push it back. There we go. And I'll make it the same color just for the fun of it. Now, what I have to do is drop that beam, which is quite a bit, looks like. Good, still looking for work. I did have a nice fire today. Oh, yeah. I had a fire 2 nights ago in my fireplace. It was nice. My wife actually made it. It's nice to go into your living room and your wife had made a fire. It's really cool. So I'm going to bring this down now. I'm going to lock my axis. And I'm just going to bring it down to where I think it goes first. What you want to do on your bird's mouth, you want your bird's mouth to be right here, so that the bottom, well, there we go. Did I get that? Did I keep that flush? Or did I move it? Yeah. That's what you want right there. You want your bird's mouth to be, you know, it's kind of a shallow bird's mouth. You could probably, let's see, we could probably raise it up a little bit. Yeah, I think we ought to come up at least 1.5 inches. Let's do that. And then we'll just it won't hurt that it's comes back farther like that. It won't hurt it at all. I'd rather have I'd rather have a deeper bird's mouth than worry about that extra little flat spot. Now we're going to make this a component. Okay. And oh, what did I do? Wait a minute. Oh, I know what I have. Sorry, I know what I have to do. That means I have to raise my beam up. Oops, I just want to raise the beam up. Started to freak out there for a second. No reason to freak out. I'm going to lock that axis and I'm going to come up to right there. Yeah, you see that little extra flat area is not going to hurt anything. That's better than not having enough of a bird's mouth. I think 1.5 inches is about where I want to be. Now we'll lower these columns, and since I made these columns of components, they'll all go down together, which is nice. And we'll see what kind of head height we have under here, just for the fun of it. $11'6", not bad. See if we have any questions. Nope. And now I'm going to run myself a line out here 22.5 inches from here. Well, that was convenient. That worked out good. How did I know that? I didn't. Got lucky. But now I can just chop this. Oh, I didn't get lucky, did I? I didn't get lucky. I wondered why the line, usually if the line stays heavy like that, yeah, the line will go light if it's not an edge. So now I can, there we go. Now I will bring this. This is that a 2x6 or a 2x4? This is meant to be. I don't know whether he wants to use. This is a 2x6, isn't it? I don't know if he's going to have a soffit or not. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a. I'm going to, let's see. For now, I'm just going to cut that out of that roof and then repaste it and then bring it down. Get over there. Get over there. There we go. Yeah, bring that out to there. What I want to do is get it down to where it's not going to interfere with our. Why does that look like it's the wrong pitch? Oh. Usually down about a 1/2 inch. Well, not on this pitch, huh? What you're trying to do is keep it from being interfering with your decking. So you just want to take it down to where it's kind of out of the way when your decking comes down the roof. Like that. That's pretty close. Then we'll get rid of that. And then what we'll do, I don't know if he wants to. Let's see if we make this a 2x6. I don't know if he wants to put fascia boards and all that on here. 2 inches. It would be two more inches. So I think what I'm going to do is make this a component, because if I change it on one side, it will change on the other. Now we must, I think what I'm going to do here is cut this, for now I'm going to show this rafter flush with my house line. But I think what I'm going to do is we'll cut the tail back on the truss enough to where they can share that, because I want this. Well, you know what? This doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, because this is a shed and we can just put it beside it. The one I'm really concerned about is this one. This one, am I going to have a long enough 2x6 to get down here, or am I going to have to piece it? 32 feet. I want to show it that way. I think I can get one that long, pretty sure. And we just want to come down and meet this. If I can quit scrolling crazy. Where's our... I want to be on that. What happened there? I must have hit the copy command instead of... I want it to stay on the axis. This is a little frustrating sometimes. It's hard. There we go. It's hard to get sometimes on these angles like that. It's hard to get SketchUp to, there we go, to stay on the axis. And that's what I want right there. Just like that. Check for questions. Nice work. Have to start my 2 p.m. meeting now. Oh, thanks, Jump Keys. Appreciate it. Now I can just, how many of these do I have? This is 48 feet. So I've got, what, 24 of these? So I've got, already got one. So if I copy this and go, I should have done this side. Times 24. Well, I can always delete one. Huh? Okay. Be careful. Alex is going to go get food. So we had the right number. It's just when you get down here to the end, you'll have a little difference like that. We're just going to put that one beside that one, and then we're going to delete this one. We're going to pretend that we can get, I know I can get 32 foot long. I might have to get the, what is it, the LSLs or whatever, the engineered 2x6s, which is no big deal. They'll just be straight. That time I got the, I want it to go back to here though. I want it to go there, dang it. I gotta get on this side, I think, to see it. Well, duty. There. Sometimes SketchUp knows what you're trying to do, and sometimes it doesn't. You have to give it some clues. So that's kind of what that's going to look like. And then he will have, he's going to build racks under here. And let's see, I can take my, now this is where it gets a little different. Well, on the lookouts, up until this point, we've had these structural lookouts, but when you get to this situation, I'm going to copy that. Roger. And then we'll want to paste. You don't want to flatten these. You're going to turn these flat and just notch them in. And I will show you what I'm talking about. If I can get it down there. Cooperate. All I got to do it on this end, yeah. Wrong edge, this one. So what you'll do is you'll probably at the end of these would be a good place to do it. Just to start one. And I messed it up, didn't I? Having troubles today. I'm not sure. Actually, that would be a good place to start. The other thing I've learned about SketchUp is that sometimes when you rotate things, the little group gets out of axis, so you can explode it and then regroup it where it sits. Well, that trick didn't work on you, did it? Explode, okay. Regroup. Oh well. And then I probably want to do one about halfway. This somewhere right about here. Let's see, let's go down 5 feet. That's too far, I knew it. And then you'll want to do one down here. Let's do it. Let's don't do it directly over. Let's don't do it directly over this thin part right here. Because what you got to do, you got to, oh God, help me. You got to notch out this rafter, and then put your lookout. You know, this rafter will be notched out. Then you'll nail it flush. You'll face nail it here flush, and then you'll go out and face nail it here flush. This will be cut back. Like that. I thought I did that, but I forgot. And that's just kind of a, that's really the only way to get any kind of support on these where you don't have, you know, anything else to get support from. But then you'll have them on the same, the other end too. So we'll take these. Get our axis locked. I said lock axis. And I knew that was going to happen. So your spacing's a little different on the end down here. So these will be a little longer, which is good because that'll just give you that much more cantilever effect. And what happens is these are kind of, they help to a degree, and then when you're decking, when you nail your decking on, it will be nailed all back here and also cantilevering out. So your decking, when you nail your decking into that barge rafter, we call this the barge rafter, the one that hangs over, and it'll also help give it support. But if you just rely on your decking to support that barge rafter, it's gonna, when you walk out there, and I've done this many times on these cheap spec houses, the soffit will give because it's out there, it's just hanging out there, and the OSB or the plywood was the only thing holding it up. Now what I can do is create this as a group. I'm going to delete this barge rafter on each side. And I'm going to copy this whole thing. I'll probably have to get my lookouts. Let's see, how did I do that? I meant to, that means I need to get these out of that group. So what I can do is cut it, go out of that group, and then paste it back in place. Because you noticed I was getting ready to copy all the trusses too. I don't want to do that, obviously. So now I can just copy all this. Make sure I got my I figured I'd miss that one. And I'm going to make a group out of it so it's easy to manipulate, and move it over here, and then I'm going to mirror it. You don't want to turn it around because your rafters will be offset weirdly, and you want to mirror this. So I'm going to go mirror -1. That will fix me right up. Grab that and it should go right up here. Just like that. And voila. Power, oh, I gotta get rid of this subfascia. There we go. Now you can order, it doesn't really matter, you can order these trusses without tails, but it might be kind of nice to have something to nail your, I would just go ahead and leave them on there, and I'm talking to Laszlo, my customer. I would just go ahead and let them leave the tails on there, and that'll give you something to nail to too. That'll just make it that much stronger. That'll kind of give this roof some bracing this way. But I meant to do that before I moved all this. I'm gonna put angle braces right here. It's like a big mothership, doesn't it? See if I have any questions or comments. I found some plots of land near the Ivy I can afford. Well, what do you want to move down in Georgia for? Did James make you mad? Now remember, there's a state income tax in Georgia, okay? You don't want to move to Georgia, okay? First of all, they're going nuts down there with their politicians, okay? That should be evident in the most current election. And they have a state income tax. And I don't know. We're just turning weird. They're going weird. Unless you just have to. Let's see. So let me turn my decking on. I wouldn't live anywhere where I had to pay a state income tax. It's just against my religion. Roof sheeting. Now this roof sheeting is not. I used to go and put all the individual sheets in, but nobody even cares. And it's just a placeholder for the sheeting. So now I just do it. I'm going to go down 10 feet. I know that's not exactly right, but I'm going to go down here and adjust it. This is what I was talking about earlier. Typically, this will hang over about 1 inch. Yeah, and that's good enough. You're not trying to lean it. You're not trying to lean it on the subfascia. You're just trying to run it over far enough so that when you start putting your drip edge, you've got something to nail to there. So that means I'm going to do this one the same. $10 feet 1. Oh, I must have gone more than 10 feet. That's weird. Again, we're not trying to bear that on that subfascia. We're just trying to get it close enough to have something to nail your drip edge to. Now, I know some people let this hang over, and this my fascia board is not. in the right place. How'd that happen? There. A subface board. That means it's not the same. That means it's not the right place over here too. That's why that's the bad part about copying and pasting, is that if you've screwed up somewhere, you're going to copy or screw up. Alright. There's still land near Jaeger. I'm like, it all depends on the work. Yeah. Well, it's nice down there. The culture, and you know this, the culture around Ivy 8888's place is different than the culture around James's place. James will always have people around because he's always training. Eric it's just a different setup, you know. He's just making videos and he's not really training as far as I know. But I know both of them, and they're both great guys. I just have a thing against paying income tax, state income tax. You already have to pay federal income tax. You know, that's bad enough. The state income tax is like a slap in your face. So I'm going to create myself, I think these ought to be good and long. These ought to be at least come out 3 feet. I'm going to say, well, that's a big, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll come out 2 feet. Yeah, I'll come out 2 feet. Make myself an angle brace here. We'll make them out of, let's make them out of 4x6s. That'll be nice. And that means they'll be 3.5 inches wide. He's probably going to want to make them out of, well, you can make them whatever, however you want to do it, Laszlo. I'm going to show them like this. And then you can do it how you want to. The point is just to get an angle brace on here. What I'm going to do though is be smart, and I'm going to make it a component so that I can, and I'm going to say they're treated pine because that's the easiest way. Oops, I meant for that to be all. I made that a component, and now it's not even like it didn't do anything. Okay, I did that once. What happened to you? There we go. I'm going to get rid of this. Now again, this is not for decoration. This is for structural integrity. But it does add a crafty look to it, so that's a bonus. And I'm just going to mirror them, because if I have to change them and they're mirrored and they're a component, then they will act right. I've noticed if you turn it around sometimes and then you change it, you got to go and mess with it. Now we will put one over here. And then we'll go down through here and put them. How many we got to do? 1, 2, 3. times 3. Well, that didn't work, did it? Oh, the spacing. Is weird. I like Eric. Eric, you know, he signed the crickets for us those few, I guess it was 5 years in a row we did that. And really good guy. All of them were good guys. I like all the Moss Pond people. I actually helped Michelle with a lot of people don't know this, but this I own this Moss Pond, and what is it? I own one of the URLs. What I did was she didn't have a. She said people were going to the wrong place sometimes, so I came up with the URL. I registered the URL Moss Pond and Gun or something like that, and then I did a portal website that sent them to the right place, which was their store. And also helped her with some drawings for they did a renovation of the storefront at Moss Pond. Now I'm gonna, let's see. Will that work? Yeah, that'll work. Just I don't have to mirror that. Why does that look weird right there? Oh, it's just an optical illusion. There we go. Now those are just to, give lateral bracing this way. So we've got our lateral bracing this way through our shear walls and our corners. This corner bracing will be put up when you're constructing it, Laszlo. When you build these walls, you're going to need, you'll have these braces to plumb these walls, and so I would just leave them there. They're not going to hurt anything. I'll just leave them there as permanent braces. How do you change zoom step? What? Oh, because it's too slow for me. You do that on your mouse, right? Don't you have a button on your mouse? I'm not going to change mine. I'll never get it fixed. I think one time I changed mine. Usually it's the mouse itself. Now in SketchUp, the reason I have ground a lot of the time is because if you're over here in space and you zoom, sometimes it zooms like really fast. But if you have a backdrop, like if I'm zooming to that, it goes slower than if I'm zooming. You see, if I'm zooming way over here, how much faster it is. So it's a combination of your mouse, the little button, on your mouse, right? No, my mouse is too simple. Well, I know, but can't you go into the setup? Well, let's just, let's look at it. Mouse zoom SketchUp. See, you got me off. I'm not spelling it correctly, but at least I know I'm not. Mouse wheel zooming too sensitive. Well, this guy says his is too sensitive. Well, it's the scroll button. See, It may be Windows thing. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I have the same problem. The scroll doesn't match the scroll on the mouse. Topic, blah, blah, blah. I'm using i7 operating system. I think you can go, I think you can download a driver for your mouse, even though you don't, like, it may be using like the default mouse driver, and then you go into that driver and change it. It's not, it's sometimes you just need to clean the mouse. These mice, you say mouses? These are real cheap. This is a wireless mouse because it's real annoying doing the drafting with a cable attached. I say that, I did it for 30 years, but you get spoiled, right, with new technology. And it's just so nice now. I don't have any. The bad news is about every 3 days I have to charge it up, but that's not a big deal. But the thing about it is, make sure you get a rechargeable. Don't get one with batteries. Okay, I made that mistake. Get a rechargeable wireless mouse. These are only like 12 or 15 bucks. They're still cheap, right? Rechargeable. Make sure it's rechargeable because you don't want to buy stinking batteries. Okay. But you can use it while it's plugged in. I've had to do that before. And so it becomes a wired mouse for about 2 hours while you're charging it. And you can get them on Amazon. Wrong button. Now, let's turn on our roofage, our metal roofs, because I got to extend these. Now, again, I have to give myself credit. I was smart here because these are all components. So when I pull this one sheet down, I'm going to come down 10 feet 1. I'm just going to use that bottom of that right there. And see, all my sheets came down. Oh, I'm just going to pat myself on the back for that one. I need to come a little more. I'm going to go ahead and come about another 1.5 inches. Yeah. And I got to figure out if he wants fascia boards on this, and then gutters, all that kind of stuff. So where did I go? I went, oh, see, now this is what I was talking about, mirroring. I mirrored this. I took this and made it a component. All those roofing sheets were each sheet, that's a component, okay? So when I made it longer, they all went longer. And also I made this side a group and copied it and mirrored it. So all these sheets, now the only one I have to fix are the ones on the end because they're cut. But I think I made, if I was really smart, I would have made even this a component. So when I go to the other side, we'll see. But it's not a big deal to fix 2 sheets, you know, like that. Let's see if I got lucky. No, I didn't. I got lazy. But I said to myself, it's only 2 sheets. So it's not like it's 50 I gotta fix. And now, but see, every time I do this, I learn something, right? Because homeowners are always changing their minds. And so you have to kind of circumvent that a little bit. You have to learn to, because see, now I'm having to change this roof trim too, which is, again, not a big deal. If I was smart, I would have just came up with a 10-foot 2 maybe. That's supposed to come down right there. Yeah. Some people let that hang over a little bit, and that's why you can't get too anal when you're drawing this stuff, because you'll tell your roofer, look what I did. I'll let that be flush, and he'll say, well, I'll let it hang over an inch. So I don't. And some roofers will hold the roof trim back with the fascia, and some will let it hang over with the roof. I think it looks better if it hangs over with the roofing, as long as it doesn't interfere with the gutter. And I think that's why. I don't know why some roofers do that, but again, that's why we don't want to get too caught up in the minutia. Is that? Yeah. We're just trying to show it the best we can, and then don't get mad if the contractor changes it, because he's the contractor and you're the draft person. Stay in your lane. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. And I don't have that. Yeah, something's weird about that. I don't think that is exactly the right pitch. That's better. It's the same with the finger pad on my laptop. I need to clean the. Yeah. Now, back in the old days, if you remember when we had the little roller balls, I don't know if y'all are. Richard's old enough, but the other fellow may not be old enough to remember when we had the little track balls in the bottom of your mouse, and they would get dirty, and you would have to kind of pull the lint and stuff out of there, the boogers out, because it would quit tracking. And of course, when you do CAD work for as long as I have, you use your mouse a bunch, obviously a lot, and I guess gamers do too, so they probably know all this. So that is pretty close. It's pretty close. And I don't know if he's going to do soffits and a ceiling. I bet you he's not, because this is a storage facility. So I bet he's just going to frame this up, put decking and roofing on it, and call it okay. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all this mess now, because I actually saved, oh, that's funny, the roof sheets are hanging out. That's another good reason just to delete all this. I saved that building, the old building. I already saved it as a different file name in case somebody else wants to do it and they don't want the big wings hanging out. I kind of like the wings though. It makes it look kind of like the Parthenon. I'll have to update the thumbnail. Yeah, and you would think they used to have these kind of fuzzy mouse pads that you could roll them on. You could just roll your mouse on it, and it was like Velcro, and it would take all that crap off your trackball. What is this? An error occurred. Please try again later. What? Hopefully that doesn't mean it can't be. Y'all have been talking to me. All right, so I think I'm good here. I gotta send this to Laszlo. Laszlo is I believe he was originally from Ukraine and made his way to the United States a long time ago, probably 20, 30 years ago. And And so, but he's like a, I forgot, he's kind of like an engineer type. I forgot exactly what he does. But I think he's going to like this. And he's going to build racks, lumber racks over here. And, well, and see, that's honestly, that's what gave me the original idea to have these columns on the outside of the containers carrying the roof load. Because then he could, if you had this same column row here against the containers, that would give you a structure to start building. You know, then all you got to do is run horizontal members across. Now I'm going to give him the idea, and he's going to say, "Hey, that sounds like a good idea. Go ahead and do that." But if you had these same columns over here duplicated, now you're just running horizontals over to these bolting. You'd have to lag bolt them because the lumber would get pretty heavy, and you could use that for lumber storage. Otherwise, you're gonna have to build some kind of rack system anyway. So, right. So, look like a great farm building. That's basically what it is. Yeah, that's basically what it is. All right, so I'm going to end it here. I appreciate everybody. Thanks, Richard, and thanks. Who else was it? You guys got to simplify your. Oh, hey, I missed Bartos from Poland. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss you there. I was working. And Astragal Ramega. I appreciate you all watching. Thanks again, Richard. And we'll end it here. I'll be back again soon. Thanks.